Dear students, good morning to all. ఈరోజు నేను ఈ క్లాస్లో ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ అబౌట్ ద casting process. Okay, and what are the different steps in the sand casting process అన్నమాట. Okay, so dear students, we already know what is the in the class in detail I explained about the casting process. So casting is a one of the primary manufacturing process. We know that mainly manufacturing processes are mainly classified into primary manufacturing and secondary manufacturing. Manufacturing is like converting the raw material into the usable form of the product or item. So whatever the process we are using, such processes we will call it as the manufacturing processes. So in that I explained about the primary and secondary manufacturing processes. Okay, casting is one such process where it comes under the primary manufacturing process. Where in the casting process, okay, where in the casting process mainly like we can melt the material. So, for example, I want to make a product or item by using the aluminum. Then I have to place this aluminum metal in a crucible. Okay, crucible is a like one container made up of a like some refractory materials. Okay, so we'll put that like billets or cutted pieces of aluminum in the crucible, and after that we'll by using the different heating sources, like we can use the different types of furnaces we can use to melt the material. So once the desired material attains the like the temperature, melting temperature, okay, then for example you take the aluminum material. Aluminum will melting temperature is the 660 degrees centigrade. So beyond the 660 degree centigrade, the aluminum will material convert into the molten stage, that is liquid material. So after that we'll before this we already have to prepare a temporary mold or permanent mold. Okay, in that we'll pour the molten material. So that's about the casting process. Casting is a manufacturing process where a liquid material, usually different types of metals like aluminum, copper, stainless steel, cast iron, like that different types of metals will melt those different materials, and they will convert them into the liquid materials. And after that whenever these liquid materials is converted by using the furnaces, then we'll pour these liquid materials into the mold. Okay, mold which is a like desired shape, which is the hollow cavity. Okay, that made up of maybe temporary molds also can use, or also we can use the permanent molds. In that we'll pour the molten material or liquid material into the desired cavity. So after that the material is allowed to cool or solidify. After pouring the like material into the mold, then afterwards we'll allow the that particular material to cool. Okay, at the room temperature, and after that we'll allow to solidify. After a certain time, the material liquid material will solidified completely. After this complete solidification, it will convert into the like a solid usable final product. So that is how we are going to manufacture a product by using the casting. Okay, so casting is like one of the oldest and technique. Okay, which is used to produce different complex shapes that are difficult to manufacture. Such type of like components we can manufacture it by using the casting processes. So hope you understand what is the casting now. So casting is a one of the primary manufacturing process where we are going to melt the material, that is by using the furnaces will convert the solid material into liquid material, and after that we'll pour this liquid material into the mold. that mold may be a temporary mold or like permanent mold that containing the it is the whatever the shape we want to manufacture, accordingly we'll prepare the molds. In that particular mold we are going to pour the molten material or liquid material, and after that particular pouring the molten material, we are going to allow to cool the material, and after that after the solidification we'll get the final product. This is the basic principle of the casting process. like uh, this is the picture, okay, where whatever there are different types of casting process are there. One of the very easiest and very economical process is the sand casting process, okay, where the we are going to use the sand to prepare the mold. So but we already mentioned that for getting the manufacturing any product, we require a mold. In that we can there are temporary molds are there or permanent mold are there. In sand casting process, we are going to produce the mold by using the sand. So it is a temporary mold. After completion of the production of the product by using the sand casting process, we are going to broke entire the mold, okay, and after that we can remove the after production of the whatever the product we can break the mold. You can use it only for one time. So that's why they are known as the temporary molds. Permanent molds, they are made up of different metals cast iron, steel, and other different steel alloy materials which will have high temperature resistance property, where such things are required, where these types of metals, whenever you are using to prepare the mold, they are called as the permanent molds, where repeatedly per thousand or different number of times you can use repeatedly that mold. Such a type of molds will call as the permanent mold, okay. So in this is the diagram related to the sand casting process. In the sand casting process, mainly we'll use the you can see that here there is a one cope box, okay, and a drag box, okay. First we'll use the top one, we'll call it as the cope box, and bottom one is called as the drag box, okay. So these boxes are made up of the maybe metals, or sometimes you can they are made up of the wood, okay. So and so first thing is the other different elements are later I will explain how they are going to prepare. First I am going to explain what is the function of this particular each and every element, okay. So this cope is the one box that is made up of the like uh, maybe wood or other different metals, okay, and they are they are used to enclose the sand, okay. These whatever the mold boxes are there, that mold boxes are made up of wood, or otherwise they are made up of the other different metals. So these mold boxes, whenever you are placing the mold box at the bottom mold box is known as the drag, and you are placing the another molding box at the top of the drag box, then it is known as the cope box, the upper. In meanwhile, sometimes we'll use the different number of more than two boxes. The middle intermediate box will known as the cheek, okay. Cope box, drag box. Sometimes, depending upon the requirement, we can use the some intermediate molding boxes you can place at the in between the cope box and the drag box. Then such type of molding box is named it as the cheek, okay. So the upper one cope box, the bottom one is drag, and middle intermediate boxes are known as the cheek. And the next element is the sprue, okay. By this is the sprue where and this is the pouring basin, and you can see that there is the parting line. This is the imaginary line where it is located in between the cope box and drag box, and this is the riser, okay. And you can see that this is the runner, this one is the runner, and you can see this one entire one is the mold cavity, and this one is the hatched portion is known as the core. Okay, this is the core. Okay, this one is the core and this one is the riser. Okay, and we'll provide some uh, vent holes in the molding sand. So for to escapement of the entrapped gases, we are going to use the vent. Okay, these are the different elements related to the casting. Okay, so now I will explain about the like this how we are going to prepare the sand casting mold. First step is the pattern making. Pattern making. So we know that we have to prepare the sand mold. In that we are going to pour the molten material. For that we require to prepare that mold. Okay, hollow mold. We require a pattern. Okay, the pattern is a replica of the mold cavity. Whatever the product is, like it is a replica of the desired part by which we are going to prepare the mold cavity. Pattern is the replica of the desired part. Okay, so whatever the product we are going to manufacture, so it's look like the same. It is the replica or copy or duplicate of the that particular part. So this pattern we are going to use to form the mold cavity. Okay, so next then we are going to dump the molding sand in the uh, mold boxes. Okay, here I already mentioned that to prepare the molding sand, to prepare the mold cavity, we have to use the molding sand. So why we are going to use that particular molding sand is because it is having the good refractory property, and also whenever you can usually pour the molten material into the that particular mold cavity which are made of the sand. Okay, after that making the mold, we have to melt the material. To melt that material we have to use the different types of furnaces. Okay, we can use the coal fired furnaces or oil fired furnaces, or sometimes we can use the cupola furnace, or we can use some different induction furnaces. Like that, different furnaces you can use to melt the material. After melting the material, we have to pour the molten material into the mold cavity. After that, once you melt the material, you have to pour the molten material into the mold cavity. So after that, we'll leave the material for the to cool at the room temperature. After that, after certain time, the material solidifies inside the mold, and after the solidification, we'll break the mold and we'll remove the item or product from the mold cavity. So that is how we are going to prepare this one. After the solidification, we have to remove the remove the whatever the product by breaking the mold cavity. Solidified part we can remove it from the cavity by breaking the that particular mold cavity. And after that final, because uh, additionally, because to get the good surface finish, or sometime to remove the flashes from the part casted product, we have to perform some different machining activities. Sometimes you may use some turning operations, sometimes you may use some milling operations, and mostly you'll use some different grinding processes to get the good surface finish. So these are the basic steps in the casting process. Mainly the to prepare the mold cavity, we required a pattern. The pattern is the replica of the desired part, and by using this pattern, we have to prepare the mold. Okay, we'll prepare the mold by using this pattern. After preparing the mold cavity, we have to, before that after once you prepare the mold, we are before in between preparing the mold making, you will melt the molten material. After melting the molten material, we will pour that molten material into the mold cavity. After that, we'll leave it for the solidification process for certain time. After solidification, we'll break the mold and we'll remove the casted product. And after that, if required, we'll perform some machining activities like turning or milling or grinding to get the good surface finish. That is how we can produce a one item or product by using the casting process. Hope all of you understand about this particular process.